Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of To a Woman's Heart, where we uplift, motivate, encourage, and empower women. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you follow us on all our social media outlets. That's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, TikTok, Pinterest. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check out the website, toawomansheart.com. Check out the social media outlet specifically for women only, where you can brand your business, network, and share life moments. And check out the To a Woman's Heart store, where t-shirts that speaks to the heart of a woman. I thank you for tuning in. I thank you for watching on the live, and I also appreciate you watching on the replay. I ask that you share this stream so that we can reach more people. Um, and for the social media outlets, it's not just about me. As I've said many times before, make sure you post something on our social media outlets. You never know what it will do for someone, how it will uplift their day, inspire them, or help them to hang on a little while longer. Well, I titled this Our Bodies, and let's talk about it. As we know, as of late, that Roe versus Wade was overturned. And whether we realize it or not, um, history has gone backwards. And the effect that it's going to have on women, whether you want to have a baby or whether you don't want to have a baby, is going to have a great impact on a lot of us. Um, I read an article today uh, because some states have started enforcing the denial of abortions. And whether we realize it or not, they excluded, which should have been included, incest and rape. And so I read this article today, which caused me to make this topic of our bodies. Let's talk about it, because let's face it, we as women, we don't talk about our bodies. We don't talk about, our emotional roller coaster rides. We don't talk about um, our menopause and how it affects our mental, how it affects our sex drive. We don't talk about how our temperament change when we're going through menopause. We don't talk about none of that. And so it's so important for us to have this conversation, especially at this particular time, because whether we realize it or not, this is a roll backward. It is not a step forward. It is a roll backwards. And so, as I was stating, I read an article today that a 10-year-old girl had been violated. And because she lived in a state that she cannot obtain an abortion, people are starting to push back on this information. But the sad part, those elected officials who feel like it's okay to go along with this does not realize the impact it's going to have on somebody, especially that age. Somebody who has violated her, whether it's a family, a friend, or a stranger, it's still a traumatic experience for that little girl. And to deny her the right to terminate a pregnancy, because not only will she deal with the traumatic experience of the violation of her body, but she'll also deal with looking at something that she's forced to bring in the world that will be a constant reminder that of that violation of her body. Uh, for me, I know there's a lot of individuals out here who believe that abortions is murder and that we should not be given the options to have an abortion. But here is my take on that. And you can like it, or sorry to say, you don't have to like it. But we need to be realistic with this conversation. And we need not tiptoe around the conversation, because it's not a conversation that we can afford to tiptoe around. We already have issues with women allowing boyfriends to beat, misuse, and abuse their children. Now, put into the equation of a woman, and we're not even talking about the younger children who are being violated. We're talking about teenagers, young adults, and women who are very promiscuous and feel like sleeping around is the thing to do. Because some of these women, that's all they know. That's what they're seeing from their mothers. It's okay. And some of them do it for the perks and the benefits: shoes, rent, hairdos, and everything else. Not realizing that condoms can burst, that they can get holes in them, and it's not 100% accurate that it will not prevent pregnancy. Neither does birth control pills are 100% accurate in prevention of pregnancy. So you're into these sexual relationships and you're giving your body so freely, but what you have to realize as a what can come of that sexual activity with that male is you can potentially be pregnant. It does not have effect on the man, but it will have an effect on you as a woman, teenager, young adult, or older. Now, you've been given the news that you are going to be a mother, right? And so you're trying to digest it, but you live in a state that they're telling you that your options and your rights have been denied, that you can't get rid of this child. So let's paint this picture so we can really understand what it's going to do. For those who don't have the financial means to go to another state and get the abortion, they're going to be self-inflicted abortions. We're talking about hangers. We're talking about swallowing chemicals. We're talking about punching themselves in the stomach. We're talking about some horrific things that these women are going to do to try to terminate a pregnancy. Now, as we know, anything that you swallow that is chemical based and is not meant to be swallowed, anything that you insert that has not been sterilized and is not surgical instruments, can cause death. And I don't think that we actually realize the implications that's going to come from these rulings of the Roe versus Wade being overturned. We're not really understanding this. And for men who find it okay, and some women on the Supreme Court who found it okay to make this ruling to overturn without even considering the death rate is going to cause, the numbers that's going to go up because of this. Now, let's go a little bit further with this. It's your body. So why does our system, a country that is saying that it is a free country, a freedom of choice, a freedom of speech, but are we really as free as they pretend that we are? And I will have to say we are not. Now let's look a little deeper in this. We already have women who abuse their children, who don't feed them, who burn them with cigarettes, who burn them with irons, who choke, smother, uh, put the newborn babies in boxes. We even heard stories of children being put in couches. Online, a friend of mine was watching a criminal show. The parents actually put the child in the stove. And I don't think we really have marinated on what it's going to do to innocent kids, innocent children that did not ask to come here. And I'm going to say this, and somebody may say it's cruel. If you don't want to be in the position of potentially getting pregnant, then keep your legs closed and your panties up. Bottom line, because the states that's going to allow these abortions are going to be overloaded. The clinics are going to be overloaded, and they're not going to be able to accommodate a lot of you all. And then you have to realize, when you wait so long, it's pretty much, it's life threatening anyway. But here is my thing, and somebody else said this in one of their streams, in one of their feeds, that those who feel like abortions should not be done. I'm not going to take not one child in to raise it, to feed it, to clothe it, to buy baby food, milk, or none of that. See, we're good to jump to something to say that we think is a great solution to a problem, but is it really? Because now what you have done, you're going to increase the death rate. Killings of children is going to go to an all-time high. Women who are going, as I said earlier, who's going to try to terminate their pregnancy themselves are going to go to an all-time high. You're going to find women that are hemorrhaging. You're going to find women, young girls who found themselves pregnant. They hid the pregnancy for the duration of time the best they could, but when it came to deliver, they were not equipped to deliver the child. They put the child in the shoebox, and they did not remove the placenta out the body, and they have bled to death, or they're going to bleed to death. Because, and then you have to look at the flip side to it. If you as a woman get pregnant and you are residing in a state who deny you have an abortion, and you decide to terminate the pregnancy on your own, now the prison rate of incarceration for women is going to go to an all-time high, because now they're going to get you for premeditated murder, for killing your child, but not realizing that your Clarence Thomas and those in the Supreme Court, your Brett Kavanaugh, provoke these actions to happen. And then the blood will be on their hands. And for every Republican state who feel like this is okay, shame on you. Because I'm sure, and somebody in your family is going to slip up, and they're going to be one of those individuals. But the funny part to all this that nobody realized, they have money to pay to take them to the state where they need to go and take care of the business and then bring them back. But it's sad that we have a system that has felt that it's necessary to be the deciding factor on what a woman should do with her body. And I'm going to say this, and I'm not trying to be mean, cruel, or evil to anyone. Let me explain something to you. Irregardless to what you think, how you feel, for any individual who feel like they are in the wrong body, you, and please don't take it the wrong way, you will never understand what it's like to be a female. You will never understand. You will never understand the magnitude and the pain when it comes down to cramps. You will never understand being bloated. You can have all the surgeries in the world. All the surgery in the world. You can put on heels, lipstick, you can beat your face to the gods, put on hair, dress stockings, and heels, as I've said, but it does not make you that woman. You can trade out your parts and fill them in with other parts to give you the illusion that you are, but it does not make you a woman. See, being a woman is a lot. And being that woman, a lot goes into it. A lot goes into it. See, we have the breasts we have to deal with. And when they are so big, we have to find clothes that will accommodate what we have. Or for those who have the large butts, then you have to find clothes to accommodate the large butts. Mood swings. And even going through the 9 months of being pregnant, it is a lot. Your body is changing. Or you want to have kids, and you had planned to have kids, but somewhere down the line, your doctor, your gynecologist told you that fibroids are preventing you from being pregnant. And so now they want to take your 2-piece or your 3-piece luggage from you. So you do not understand what it means to be A woman, you have no idea. None. It takes a lot to be a woman. Understand me when I say, and again, I'm not trying to be funny, mean, cruel, or evil, but you have no idea what it takes to be that woman. You have no idea the emotional roller coaster that woman goes through when she's pregnant and they tell her she got gestational diabetes. You have no idea what it means to be a woman when she goes full term with a pregnancy and find out that that baby is stillborn. You have no idea. None. And for any that thinks he understands the woman's body, what she deal with and what she go through, you have no clue. See, you men are like going to the playground. You like getting on the swing and swinging a little bit. You like slide down the sliding board every now and then and slide into the parts of a woman because it gives you great sensation, it gives you great feeling, and it also gives you great relief. But you have no idea what it's like to be her. You have no idea what she go through. You have no idea the pain of labor. You have no idea when you're carrying a child and it sits on your bladder and it kicks you so hard till you pee on yourself. You have no idea. So what gives you the right to make a decision of what a woman should do with her body? You have no idea. And it's not your authority, your privilege, or your place to decide what that woman should do with her body. Now, here is my suggestion. And somebody might say, Renee, you crazy, but it's factual. For those men who have girlfriends and wives who felt like it was okay to decide what I should do with my body, you should show them and cut off all means of activity since you feel like you know what I should do with my body. Because we're not telling you what you do with your body. And I said this and I stick to it. Since they do not want to incorporate incest and rape and make it an exception to the rule and allow those women to go ahead and get an abortion, since you want them to live in a traumatic experience and then you want them to look at a child that remind them of a traumatic experience, and then you will also want to force them to do something to the child that will potentially cause them to be incarcerated. So that's what your setup is. Then I suggest that when a man violates a woman and you're forcing her to keep that baby, we should be allowed to castrate. That's what we should do. For every man that violates a woman, and when you find out who that man is, we should be allowed to send him to the surgical unit and castrate him without any thought given to the process. He should be immediately castrated. And for men who can perform their duties, who think it's okay to dictate to about a woman's body, that should be grounds immediately for divorce and let you go. See, you all think it's okay to dictate to us what we should do with our bodies, but you don't want to put no stipulations on yours. So for any man who feel like it's that when women feel like it's inappropriate how they approach them and how they um, touch their bodies in a way that's very much so inappropriate, you should instantly go to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. That's what should happen. But for this country, as I've said, even on my Reality Is channel, we have a flag, constitutional laws, human rights, and seem like we don't have no rights whatsoever. It seems like the judicial system that's supposed to be in God we trust and things done in decent and in order has lost its mind, totally lost its mind. Then went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs and then think it's okay. I saw a post and I thought it was funny, but it wasn't funny. Because Clarence Thomas, it was three, I know Clarence Thomas, Brett Kavanaugh, I think the one lady, Susan, the one at number 45, made sure he put those individuals in position so they could overturn Roe versus Wade into office. Somebody, but it was stated that Clarence Thomas has been pushing for this forever and a day to overturn Roe versus Wade. And there was a post made, your mother should have used contraception. And for any man and even any woman who feel like it's okay to dictate what a woman should do with her body, your parents should have used contraception. Bottom line. And you should not even be here. Let's be honest. Let's be truthful, because this right here is going to have great impact. So mothers, aunties, grandma, you need to sit down and talk to your teenage girls. You need to sit down and talk to your young adults and tell them to hold on to their jewels and close the cookie jar. Because now appeal is not going to be available. Now you're not going to be able to go in some states and say, oh, it's a oops. Let me go correct this oops. It's not going to be as simple. It's not. And I don't condone it, but I do understand. And I say this, and I'll still stick to it. God is the judge, not me, not you, not the Supreme Court, not the president, not the Democrats, not the Republicans, not a mayor, governor, state representative, an alderman. Nobody has that authority. We were born individuals. We were not born locked down to what we could or could not do with our bodies. Our bodies is just as they are, our bodies. Period. They're our bodies. And nobody should have authority over anybody body of what they can and cannot do with their body. And so I still say this again. We need to take the flag down, strip it of the red and the blue and the stars, and just leave it white. That's it. That's all. There's no diversity in this country. There is no freedom. There is no fairness. There is no trust. There is no honesty. But clearly there is manipulation. And the things that should be worked on is not being worked on. It's not. Nobody cares about sex trafficking, but you care about stopping abortions. Nobody cares about kidnapping, but you care about stopping abortions. Nobody care about domestic violence, but you care about stopping abortions. Nobody cares about abuse of children, but you care about abortions. Nobody has even talked about those children that was thrown into the immigration camp and separated from their parents, but you care about abortions. Nobody talk about gun laws, but you care about abortions. Nobody talk about those individuals who put their lives on the line for serving their country, and they come home and homeless and live on the street, but you care about abortions. Nobody care about the homeless rate that's in these 50 states, but you care about abortions. Nobody really care about the high price of gas, but you care about abortions. Nobody care about that unemployment rate is higher than what they mentioning, and it's very hard for individuals to get employed and get a job, but you care about abortions. Nobody care about our elected officials, how they lie, manipulate, deceive, and steal while they're sitting in the seat with a smile, but you care about abortions. Nobody care about racism or discrimination, but you care about abortions. Something is wrong with this picture. Something is wrong with this country. And for us who sit and say it does not affect me, it don't affect you yet, but it will affect you, bottom line. And we have to exercise our right to vote. We have to use our voice. Our voice is our vote. We may say it don't matter, but it do. Let me tell you what the census really is. The census is a manipulation to restructure neighborhoods and communities to get things done with the percentage of people they want to get done. That's all it is. This country could be so much better off than what it is, but we're stuck on petty things. And then we sit around here thinking like, oh, it don't affect me. It'll never hit my front door, but it's hitting your front door. It's closer than you think. And you're not understanding that. Or maybe you just don't want to see it. That's the problem. And it's sad. We have women right now who husbands are controlling what they can and cannot do, when they should speak, who they should speak to, who they should hang out with, what time they should go, what time they should come back, how long they are allowed to be out. And you're a grown individual. You was born by yourself, not with no man attached to your hip, but you was born an independent person. So why do we feel that it's okay to let any man rule and reign over your life when you are an individual? Why? Domestic violence is a man controlling the mind of a woman. And then it's the woman, depending on her past, whether her self-esteem, her confidence has been affected, is low, and she feels like any form of love is love. But anytime a man puts his hands on you, that is not love. That's abuse. The same way when they say mothers discipline their kids. If you hit your child with a bat, a 2x4, that's abuse. But if you whoop in their butt with a belt, the Bible says, spare the rod, spoil the child. That's discipline. We need to know the difference. We need to know the difference. And women, we are more powerful than we actually realize or even understand. More powerful, but we don't exercise that power. We allow others to snatch our power. We don't speak up for ourselves. We don't say what's right, and we don't say what's wrong. We just go along with whatever it is. And that's the sad part. But I'm telling you, the time is now for us to stick together, to stand up and exercise our right and use our voice for what they are trying to do to us. They're trying to put us barefoot, pregnant, and in the kitchen. And you don't have no voice. But they want to make you like a puppet on the string. You do what they say, when they say, how they say, the way they want you to do it. That's what they're trying to do. And I said this. They're trying to roll things backwards. Now, the next thing they're trying to attack is separating church and state. So they're taking the puzzle apart bit by bit to take away the freedom of choice that you have, which is a violation of your constitutional rights. When you was born, you didn't sign no document saying that I give you permission to tell me what I can do with my body. You didn't sign that. So where does it make it right and legal that a Supreme Court to go in and tell you what you can and cannot do with your body? Where is that at? See, we need to have some pushback in what's going on. And then those individuals who feel like it's okay to dictate to a woman about her bodies, these are the individuals you need to evict from the seat. They need to go. They can't represent you because they're not representing you in fairness. They're not. And then a lot of Brett Kavanaugh, before he got into office, a young lady came forth and sat in the hearings and told them how disrespectful and how he had violated her. And they apologized to his family and then placed him on the Supreme Court anyway. So what kind of message does that send? It's okay for men to do whatever they want to do to women. So court has just did when they said that incest and rape does not give you, or is a not good reason for you to get an abortion. They're giving the man permission to misuse, abuse, hurt, harm, and violate when a woman says no. Taking something from that woman is not his to take against her will and her wishes. But we don't get that. We're not understanding that. It's not resonating with us in reference to that at all. We need to think about it. You have daughters, you have nieces, you have cousins, you have sisters. You better think about it. Because as long as that young lady has a menstrual cycle, there is potential for her to get pregnant. They're still dropping Mickeys in drinks. They're still have these dating drugs out here. Um, Groups still plot and plan to violate a woman. Women that don't have the protection of a male person when they're coming home from work still potentially could be violated. And again, what they're saying, your Supreme Court in some of these states, is that is not a valid reason to get an abortion. So what they're saying, violate me horrifically, take something from me, do whatever you want to do to me in all manners. Just destroy my life. Snatch my confidence, snatch my voice, place me in a dark place, place me in mental depression, place me in anxiety, place me in fearful mode. And then after the horrific experience, and a couple of weeks later, I find out from the horrific experience that it left me pregnant by somebody that took something from me that I didn't give up willingly. They snatched it from me. They invaded my space. They took it from me, left me with scars, left me with sleepless nights and uneasiness, and always looking on my shoulder and sitting in the house because I'm fearful of going out. And then you want me to carry this horrific experience for 9 months and birth it, and then take care of it, feed it, and nurture it. And you want me to look at it and constantly relive the horrific experience over and over again until I snap, until I can't take it anymore, until the memory of what happened to me is unbearable. And then I black out and I kill the child. And when I come to myself, the child is no longer living. The police has handcuffed me and I'm in jail. That's what you all want? That okay? Because it's not. It's not okay at all. It's really not. Nope. It's not okay at all. And if we don't wake up, and if we as women don't learn how to stick together, it's only going to get worse. It's not going to get any better. Because if they'll do that, what's going to come next? That's the question we should ask. What's going to come next? And you know who is going to affect most? Black women. This is going to affect Black women the most. Our prisons are already overloaded with Black and brown. So now you want to increase the percentage of those women in prison, which you think you are stopping the population of reproduction because you don't want to increase the population of reproduction. How does that make sense? It doesn't whatsoever. And I'm going to say this again. God don't like ugly, and he's not too fond of beauty. And when individuals do things that cause more harm than they do to help, it's not a good look. It's not a good look. And we wonder why so many things is going on in our lives. Chaos and confusion. This is why. But we're constantly sitting behind closed doors complaining, but yet we will not do anything and will not say anything until it hits our front door. And that's when reality is going to kick in. And I pray that the violation of your child, your teenager, your preteen, your young adult, that does not hit your doorstep. And I'm going to say this and then I'm going to be done. Women, you need to be extra cautious of who you leave around your children now. You need to be very cautious because whether you realize it or not, with the overturn of Roe versus Wade, whatever happened to that child, they're going to hold you accountable for it. That's called double jeopardy. They're going to put you and the child. Now, the child is going to suffer. You're going to suffer. And it's going to be chaos and confusion. Now, potentially, because a child has been forced to keep something that they're not ready, they're going to be suicidal, start cutting and all this stuff, lashing out and everything. I don't really think we get it. I don't think we really understand the magnitude of the overturn of Roe versus Wade. It is a wake-up call. It really is. And I'll say this again. Stop letting everybody play in your playground. They need to earn some rights to play in your playground. And if there ever was a time that we should get back, if we can't get married, then we can't play. Because then, and even with that, that's not a guarantee. Because even with that, men walk off all the time, even from wives. And then the financial strain that it's going to cause if you already have 3 kids and you end up pregnant and you can't afford, he walks away, then what? Then what? There's so many scenarios to this Roe versus overturn, Roe versus Wade being overturned. So many scenarios. It's going to make it difficult, especially for women who want to have babies. Y'all don't understand. It's not just about women who end up pregnant, but what about the women who want to have babies? What about it? You think there's not some stipulations in the overturn of Roe versus Wade? They say some instances was a life-threatening situation. You are allowed to get an abortion. But what is the list of life-threatening situations? There might be some exceptions to that. We haven't even thought about that. You haven't thought about that at all. Not at all. And it's sad. It is really, really sad. You think black market pills are going to be a hot commodity? Oh, yes, of course. But nobody thought about that. We don't think about that. And it's sad. It's really sad that a lot of us sit in silence and we don't feel the need to speak up and say nothing. I'm praying because this is a sad day in this country. We're almost becoming like other countries. You know, we can't. Talking about they have bad things. Well, hell, what we're doing ain't no better than what the other country's doing. Bottom line. All right. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you follow us on all our social media outlets. Make sure you check out the website, toawomensheart.com. Make sure you check out the social media outlet for women, toawomensheart.store. toawomensheart.org, and check out the t-shirts that speaks to the heart of a woman, toawomensheart.store. All right. I pray that you support. I pray that you share, and I pray that you visit the store and purchase you at least one t-shirt. All right. Can you do that for me? Thank you so much for tuning in, and take care until we talk again.